Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see about England and Ireland. Ireland was converted to Christianity as early as 432 AD by Saint Patrick. In the 12th century, Ireland was presented to Henry II of England by Pope Adrian IV. From then down to the time of Henry VIII, the King of England was called Lord of Ireland. But this king did not rule directly, he ruled the land through a Lord Deputy who was assisted by a secretary. During the reign of Queen Elizabeth, some famous Englishmen like Edmund Spenser and Sir Walter Raleigh owned big plantations in the country. The Fairy Queen, the first English epic, was written by Spenser while staying in his estate at Kilcolman. Potato cultivation was introduced into Ireland by Sir Walter Raleigh, who brought it from America. Ireland was a Roman Catholic country, and so the people in general did not like the Protestant institutions and quite often rose into rebellion. On several occasions, Queen Elizabeth had to resort to repressive measures with the result that many of the natives were killed. When James I became the king, he arranged for a large number of English and Scottish Protestants to settle in Ireland. He also drove the native Irish from their lands in eastern Ulster and gave them to the Protestants. After the execution of Charles I, the people of Ireland supported his son Charles II for this reason. Oliver Cromwell took revenge on them by conquering the entire country in 1649. 40 years later, James II, the displaced monarch of England, was welcomed by Roman Catholic Ireland. This provoked William, who succeeded James as King of England, and waged wars against the country. On the 1st July 1690, James was defeated by William at the Battle of Boyne. The Catholics who supported James were deprived of their lands and political rights. Only Protestants were allowed to rule the country. Towards the end of the 18th century, inspired and aided by the French revolutionaries, the Society of United Irishmen was formed with the object of fighting for the inclusion of men of all creed in the Irish Parliament. It was evident that the unjust treatment of the vast majority of the Catholic population could not go on for long. William Pitt, the younger, the then Prime Minister, conceived the grand idea of bringing all three countries, that is, England, Scotland, and Ireland, under one Parliament. The Catholic section en bloc supported the scheme, and the reluctant Protestant section was bribed into agreement. Accordingly, the Act of Union was passed in 1800. Ireland was to be represented in the House of Commons by 100 elected members and in the House of Lords by 28 elected peers and 4 bishops. The Protestant Church of Ireland was joined to that of England, and the two were to be known as the United Church of England and Ireland. The administration of Ireland was entrusted to the Viceroy and his Chief Secretary. Either or both of them might be members of the British cabinet. To fulfill his promise, Pitt introduced the Catholic Emancipation Bill in Parliament, but George III refused to give his consent, saying that it was against the oath he had taken at the time of his coronation. Pitt resigned, and once again the Catholic problem was shelved. The Irish Catholics were allowed to vote, but their Catholic representatives could not become members of Parliament. The famous Irish lawyer and patriot Daniel O'Connell was elected, but could not take a seat in Parliament just because he was a Catholic. However, the Catholic Emancipation Act was passed in 1829, thus the Catholics were entitled to sit in Parliament. Frequent failure of the potato crop, and in particular the famine in 1845 to 46, raked up frequent riots and agitations throughout the country. Most of the peasants left the land. After 1846, about 2.5 million people had left for the United States. Of those still left at home were neck deep in debts to their landlords. The laws governing land were unfavorable to the poor peasants that they disliked the entire class of landlords. The landlords became the target of attack by the masses. The Irish Nationalist Party was formed to fight for Home Rule. William Gladstone was the first Englishman to realize that the sole remedy for Ireland's malady was the granting of Home Rule. In 1886, he introduced the Home Rule Bill in Parliament but was defeated. The second Home Rule Bill introduced by him in 1893 was also defeated. Meanwhile, everywhere in the country there was lawlessness. Once again, the National Party in Parliament pressed for Home Rule. Asquith, who understood the seriousness of the situation, introduced the third Rule Bill. Though the House of Lords rejected it 3 times, it was at last passed in 1914 by consent of the Crown and Commons. Before the Act could come into force, another unexpected problem cropped up. The people of Ulster, mainly Protestants for reasons of their own, opposed the Home Rule Act. At this juncture, the First World War broke out and the Act was suspended for the time being. An Irish political party called Sinn Féin was working for the creation of an Irish Republic and had organized the Irish Republican Army. In 1916, the people rose in rebellion. The revolt was ruthlessly put down by the state police and the special force named the Black and Tans, formed for the purpose of counteracting the Irish Republican Army. At the ensuing election in 1918, Sinn Féin managed to get 70 seats. They refused to sit in the English Parliament and set up their own assembly known by the Irish name of Dáil Éireann. They even sent their own representatives to the peace conference held in Paris after the war, but it did not help. The insurgents were forced to resort to violence once again. At long last, on 6th December 1921, an agreement was reached whereby the country was divided. The six counties of Ulster in the north obtained a parliament of their own but remained a part of United Kingdom. Southern Ireland became the Irish Free State, enjoying dominion status like Canada or Australia. The extremists, headed by De Valera, wanted an Ireland completely free from any connection with England. Ireland once again had to wade through blood before she became free. It was the extremists who finally won the fight. In 1930, Ernan De Valera assumed office as president and declared Irish Free State a full-fledged republic called Eyre. And if you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please do write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.